Hi guys, Chris the Ultimate Recycler here. About 6 months ago I started a job and I did a playlist. I filmed it all and I think I called the videos something like how to make money cleaning out other people's houses. And I went through the process of cleaning out a house that a client had contacted me about, and I'll talk about the circumstances as we go through. I thought I'd show you just a bit of a recap of what happened, but if you get a moment, go back. I'll put a link to the playlist underneath and have a look at it. I think there's about 8 parts. This will be probably part 9. Just to conclude it, it all happened pre-Christmas. I think we got the keys to the place early October. It had to be done by the end of November. And then things got busy and I finally got back to winding this video up. I had some footage of cleaning up, the final cleanups, that I'll show you that as well. Let's go back to when I first started and show you a bit of a quick recap as to what happened, and then we'll conclude this series. Okay, here's a walkthrough of the place before we started. This is a large shed. Now, this is a very typical situation where the family have sold the house, the owner has gone into aged care, and they live 2 hours away in Melbourne and just did not want to spend time cleaning it up completely. They had removed quite a bit of stuff, obviously everything the family wanted to keep, and they did a few loads to the tip. But basically they contacted me and said, am I interested? And we struck a deal where no money changes hands. I didn't charge them and I didn't pay them. I just cleaned up the place for what I could salvage. There was a lot of artwork. The lady who lived here was an artist and quite a prolific one. You'll see some of the artwork shortly. But this is the state of the shed when I first had a look around. Some value, some junk, and the deal was clean it all up, as I mentioned. So we got the keys to the house. We had about 6 weeks in total, and the house was relatively empty. This is the carport. There was a couple of fridges. They were both quite good. There was some furniture which I ended up giving away for free, and a few other bits and pieces. Look, my strategy was to move it as quick as possible and not chase top dollar for things. Just make sure they sold quick, they turned over quick. And there was some things we took home, and I gave my daughter, my middle daughter, this dryer. She also got the washing machine. In the house, there was actually a lot more in the cupboards than I realised when I said yes, and we got some reasonable value out of this. So a lot of it we took, well, some of the better stuff we took back to the shop, but a lot of the other stuff, and including the cleaning products, and you'll see shortly there was a lot of food stuff still in the pantry, we actually gave away for free. I used Facebook Marketplace and the local buy, swap and sell groups to get rid of a bit of stuff whilst I was cleaning out around there. And because I had the key, I didn't have to worry about sort of packing it all up and moving it. Some of the electrical I took home and tested. But there was a lot of quantity of stuff in the cupboards. So as well as Facebook and local buy, swap and sell groups, I decided to have a garage sale, and a lot of this stuff I actually gave away. The biggest thing with cleaning out a house is a lot of people get a skip in. They'll pay $300-400 for a skip, and all this stuff gets thrown in. I didn't want that. I didn't want all the wastage. Moving into the laundry area now, there was the standard laundry stuff, and my middle daughter also got this washing machine, as I mentioned before, so she did well out of this deal. There was your standard laundry trolleys and baskets, and linen closet here was full of all your linen stuff, bedding, towels, tea towels, and the other side had cleaning stuff, vacuums, brooms, all that sort of stuff, and lots more plastic containers. I don't think I've ever seen quite so many plastic containers. Also some electrical appliances, kitchen stuff, which I tested and managed to sell most of it. I think I did scrap a little bit of it that was either too dirty or had some issues. But yeah, and we sold those crochet blankets separately. More cleaning products in this cupboard. So the cupboards were nearly all basically full. There was certainly plenty of stuff there. Moving into the lounge, there was a microwave and a few side tables and cupboards, a large printer that did eventually go to e-waste. I couldn't even give it away. Gave away that corner TV unit, very 1980s, that one. And my eldest daughter got this electric piano, so she was pretty chuffed about that. It's actually quite a nice unit. I think it was a Korg, and even though it's a bit of an older model, it plays very well. The rest of the stuff in the lounge was just small things, or small furniture items, pretty easy to sell. We did keep the walker and the shower chair for future use. The office chair sold very well. And the oldest thing in the whole house was this nice 1920s era barley twist auto trolley or tea trolley, so that was pretty nice. The main bed, or the double bed in this room, I ended up taking photos for Facebook Marketplace and sold it to the guy that had purchased the house and he said leave it exactly where it is, so that was kind of good. There's a fair bit of stuff in the cupboards here too, lots of craft stuff, some more glassware and crockery, and even some sewing machines, which Christine decided she didn't need because I think she has enough. So yeah, we had to clean all this out, some bedding as well. The other bedroom had a large single bed, which we managed to sell on Facebook. I think I got $50 for that. There was some bonus packets of jewellery, just costume jewellery, but that adds up to quite a good return. Wasn't much other furniture in this room, just a sewing machine cabinet, I think. And a little bit of stuff in this wardrobe, just some clothing and bedding. We donated some of the clothing to the local charity shop. And that's about all we had in the house. So we started to sort things into the carport for a garage sale. These things were free. Oh, the mirror up the top, I think I got $20 for at a garage sale. The fridge we just saw, I think I got $150 for. They were all in good going order. Then as I was cleaning up and organising, I was making a pile for free, and as people came to pick up things that they'd purchased on Facebook, they would sometimes help themselves to a few bits and pieces. The artwork, I said the lady was a prolific artist. There was a lot of artwork. The family had obviously taken the ones they wanted. I didn't see a lot of value initially, but as you'll see at the end of this video, it did work out to be quite a profitable exercise. Some of the artwork I liked, some I didn't. You'll see it spread out shortly. Set up for a garage sale now. I decided to run a garage sale or a yard sale, and it's great having such an area. It was close to the main road. I put signs out. A lot of this stuff I had for free as well. I was really just aiming on moving quantity rather than getting a lot of dollars back. These big benches actually stayed, but all the crockery and that out of the house, most of that was free. There was a little bit of shed stuff and some tools. Not much value in it. There certainly wasn't much I took back to the shop as far as that goes. There was just actually a lot of free stuff, and people did take it. It was good. I mean, much better to give it a new home and a new life than take it straight to the tip. The stuff out of the kitchen, a lot of the food stuffs here, people did take a lot. A lot of it was still sealed and perfectly good. Some of it I did empty the contents into the garden and put the bottles in the recycle bin, so they didn't go to the tip. That's something that I was pleased about. A lot of cleaning products, but as you can see there, everything on that trestle was free. So the shed was quite full. There was some better value stuff that I did get a bit of a return on. Obviously I need to make some money for my time, and I priced things, $5 to $10. Didn't worry about trying to ask too much. This is all the lower end artwork. I just put $5 each on this. Some of it was prints, but most of it was originals. And ironically, what didn't sell, I took back to the shop and put $10 each on, and actually sold quite a bit of that. Garden chemicals, all for free, and they were well received. A lot of people took those. And just some gardening tools. I sold most at the garage sale, but I did take some back to the shop. In the carport, I actually used the opportunity to get rid of a bit of other furniture from another deal I was working on at the same time. So that was kind of handy. I was able to bring extra stuff in and put it in the garage sale. And we sold most of this. It was a very busy morning. There were, it was like 3 hours or 4 hours of absolutely chaotic people giving me cash. Inside, I spread out a lot of the better artwork, and most of it had prices from being on show at art shows. All the linen I got out of the cupboards was all for free. I wasn't after anything for any of that. I did pull out some nice rugs and things. Here's some shots of the garage sale, just high speed, and it was just constant loading cars, people walking away with free stuff. Ended up making, I forget what the total was for the morning, about $1,000 or so. But we had sold quite a bit of good stuff through the Facebook buy, swap and sell groups previously. So the garage sale was a last-ditch effort to really reduce the quantity. This is the aftermath. As I was packing it up, I actually still advertised a bit of stuff for sale. I took this artwork back to the shop for $10 each as a quick flash of that. But packing up the shop, I did get a few extra people come along and pick up some more free stuff. And the only rubbish for the whole event was 2 or 3 of those red bins full. Nothing went to the tip. I was pretty pleased about that. Loading up the very last of it to finish off the job, and I'll cut shortly to where I filmed the day I finished up, which was, nearly 6 months back. And this is the final episode of this house clean out, furniture flipping, garage sailing series. I think it's episode 8. I'm filming from the shed. I've just driven the old trusty Hilux in to pick up the last of the timber, a few bits of scrap metal, and this will be a pretty short episode. In fact, it probably won't be released for a few weeks after I'm filming this, because I want to get some totals on the notepads and work out if the whole thing was worthwhile. So let's go and load the ute up with the very last things to get out of this place. This has been the best place to clean out as far as access goes. The fact that I can drive the ute into the shed's pretty cool, but also it was so close to the main road. It was good access to have a garage sale. It was a really easy job to do. Mostly low value, but we got it all for nothing, and it was just a matter of cleaning out. So if you haven't sort of stumbled across this series before and just found this episode, go back to episode 1 and follow the journey. This is what I do for a living: clean out people's places and run a second-hand shop and do some online selling and all sorts of things. So we've just got to pick up this little pile of timber, and there's a few bits of scrap metal in there. The push bike didn't come from here. It was one that was dropped off at my shop a while back, and I've got a local subscriber actually who wants that one, so that'll be well and truly gone by the time you see this episode. So all we've got to do is clean up that little corner there and pick up the last of the bits of scrap metal that I threw out here when I was cleaning up, and then the place is all finished, completely done. I can email the owner and say we're all ready. I've just got to put the bin out. Pickup is tomorrow for the bins, and she's going to get a cleaner in to do the house. So I can give the key back, and I think we've left the shed pretty neat. So the new owner who moves in, well, he takes over in about 3 weeks or so, should be happy with a nice clean blank canvas to start his new life in Nagambie. Okay, all done in the shed, roller doors closed, scrap metal has been picked up and that area has been swept. The rubbish bin is out ready for pickup tomorrow, and the ute's loaded. So all finished here. And bang, just like that, we're back in the future. So that was about 6 months ago, not quite 6 months, that was near the middle to late November, because settlement day on the property was the end of November. So the owner was very happy with the job. They didn't have to come up and do any cleaning out. They got the key back, and pretty well the place was right for settlement, other than a bit of a quick clean. So we ended up with, well, I kept track of my time roughly, around about 23 hours I jotted down. It was a bit difficult to keep track of because I didn't want to include the time I was spending on the other furniture that I brought in from another job. But basically cleaning out the house, running the garage sale, marketing a lot online, approximately 23 hours or so of my time, plus a little bit of running around. Not that I had to drive far, but yeah, it's just a matter of organisational things. Not a lot of time commitment really for what we got out of it. Let's have a look at the notepad. Now, I won't go through any individual figures, but you can see the sales, and there's still a few odd things that haven't sold. They're probably sitting in the shop somewhere. But basically, pretty much all of it has gone. Remember, this is 6 months, 5 months later, I suppose, from when we finished up. And the tally is quite surprising. A couple of things to point out. The artwork, which I didn't really value when I first saw it, and it has been a bit difficult to sell. But I've got a few columns of paintings here. The total I've sold of the paintings at the moment is around about $650 worth. There are still some at the shop. And with the prices of paintings, I don't have any here to show you. But all the nice ones that were framed had a price on the back of them from when they were at art shows. And for example, if one said $200, I would divide it by 4 and try and get $50 for it. So that's the prices I had at the garage sale, and there's still probably a dozen at the shop that had, I think the most expensive was $400. I've got $100 on it. I'll probably discount them even further to move them on, because I don't want them hanging around forever, and obviously we've got to wind up our shop if you've been following what's happening lately. But I've managed to get pretty good value for those paintings, and yet the people that are buying them were buying at 1/4 of the price they were advertised at art shows. Yes, the artist is only an amateur. She's not a listed Australian artist. She's nothing, I won't say nothing special. Her artwork's quite good, but art is very subjective and not everyone likes them. But I've got a pretty good return. As I said, around about $600 back on the artwork, possibly more because it was a bit hard to keep track of on the morning of the garage sale. So that went really well. I've got to clear out the rest of them from the shop, I said. But the rest of the stuff in the price list here that hasn't sold, tallies around about $400 if I add up what I priced it at. To discount it, we're obviously probably not going to quite get that. And I do still have this camera. This was one of the best finds. I won't get it out of the case, but it's a Canon PowerShot, quite a good model, and they sell for around about $300 to $350 on eBay. I've got that in the shop, or I will have it in the shop for I think $275. So that's something that we will get a return on as well down the track. My total return, I've got around about $3,000 back out of this job. So no outlays other than my time and organisation and a little bit of sundry expenses like price stickers and that's, although there was price stickers even there. About $3,000 back for about 24 hours labour. I'm pretty happy with that. Plus we've got potentially another, say, $500 if I include the camera. So well worthwhile. A particularly good job for me. It was local, it was convenient, and the people very happy. So let me just talk on values there. They sold their house and got a very good price, because from when the house was built and purchased, it would have appreciated a bit in value. They were really happy to sell a house. They got their stuff that they wanted, their good family heirlooms, any furniture and that the mum wanted, even though she's still alive, she's in care. And all the stuff they didn't want, they didn't have to worry about. They walked away. They walked away and got their money for the house. So they're very happy. I'm pretty happy. I've just explained how much I made for my time. The new owner was happy. The real estate company was happy. Everyone was happy because there was no junk left. It was cleaned out. And had this place been in Melbourne or a capital city somewhere, or I believe a lot of the bigger places, to have a house emptied, not only if you probably got the price of a skip, but if you hire someone to do the job, they charge you. So I didn't charge anything. I have been told that to do a job like that in Melbourne, it would probably cost you a few $1,000s to have someone come in and do it, and they still get the stuff to sell. So I'm not trying to justify it, but that's what the situation is. And because the garage sale went so well, it's been suggested by a couple of people on the channel, and I have been thinking about it, that perhaps after my shop winds up, my future lies in being a professional garage sale facilitator, where perhaps I could offer this service, maybe on a tiered rate. Maybe I'll pay a little bit if it's a lot of good stuff. Maybe I'll charge a little bit if it's a lot of junk, or in cases like this, no money changes hands. And as long as I can get a reasonable profit for my time and experience and knowledge, well, I'm going to enjoy that. What do you think? Leave your comments underneath. All right, I'll finish this video up. I don't think there's anything else I have to say. No, I think I've covered it all. Thanks for watching. End of this series. I hope you've enjoyed it. Catch you in the next video, whatever that may be. Bye for now.